meet one of the craziest supercharged jet skis to be launched in years. The 2024 Sea-Doo GTR-X 300 has one of the most powerful engines ever fitted to a mid-size ski. With this new model, Sea-Doo has bridged the gap between the GTR 230, the entry point into its supercharged range, and the flagship RXP-X 325. In this video, we will go through Australian and US pricing, all the key features, tell you what it's like to ride, and do acceleration and top speed tests using precision V-Box timing equipment. Let's get started. Can you get too much of a good thing? We're about to find out. The entry point in Sea-Doo's supercharged range has had a major boost, with the GTR 230 now joined by the new GTR-X with 300 horsepower. Based on the same Polytech hull from Sea-Doo's recreational GTI series and the GTR 230, the GTR-X 300 has the most power ever applied to this platform. It gains the 300 horsepower version of Sea-Doo's supercharged 1630cc 3-cylinder Rotax engine versus the 230 horsepower version of this supercharged engine fitted to the GTR 230. Sea-Doo claims that GTR-X can do 0 to 60 miles an hour, or just shy of 100 kilometers an hour, in about 4 seconds. However, our testing, shown later in this video, revealed a different acceleration result, but this is still an incredibly fast machine. Key upgrades to the GTR-X 300 include launch mode, a 2-piece racing seat for performance riding, race-style handlebars, although they're not adjustable, a 7.6-inch display versus the 4.5-inch unit on the GTR 230, while models equipped with the optional factory-fitted sound system come with a 7.8-inch display. As with all of Sea-Doo's performance range, the GTR-X 300 has a scoop grate in the belly to make sure the jet pump gets fed plenty of water and doesn't cavitate on takeoff. Only one colour scheme is available for 2024, charcoal grey with red highlights. In the US, the 2024 Sea-Doo GTR-X 300 costs from $16,999 excluding trailer and registration. In Australia, it is priced from $26,664 ski only. Check the Sea-Doo website in your country for the latest prices and standard equipment. This price positions the GTR-X about $3,000 dearer than the GTR 230. Key specifications for the 2024 Sea-Doo GTR-X 300 are as follows. Here are the Australian details. Here are the US details. The Sea-Doo GTR 230 was already a quick ski and frankly a bit of a handful. So to add more power without making any changes to the hull is a tall order. Translated, the GTR-X 300 is a huge amount of fun. However, you'll want to ease into it before you start going too crazy. Helpfully, while the Sea-Doo RXP-X 325 has super sharp cornering, the GTR-X 300 has a more forgiving hull. Because it is based on the recreational GTI series, popular with first-time riders, the GTR-X slides around more when cornering, which makes it less of a handful in tight turns. That said, if you get it wrong, it can still eject you. Get it right and don't step over its limits and you'll have fun all day. Before we get to the performance times, it's worth noting some of the key features. The handlebars are not height adjustable or tilt adjustable. Having this option would make it more comfortable to ride while standing up. There are dock tie points on the top of the centre console, and the glove box has a waterproof phone holder with provision for an optional USB charge port. The bow storage is slightly larger in the GTR-X than it is in the RXP-X. And as with other models across the Sea-Doo range, the rear deck has link accessory attachment points. However, a rear boarding step is an optional extra. And in Australia, the sound system is a dealer fit accessory rather than a factory fit option. As with other Sea-Doos and Yamaha Wave Runners, the reverse trigger is on the left and the accelerator trigger is on the right. There is also cruise control and adjustable trim to raise or lower the nose depending on conditions. As for the hull, Sea-Doo really is approaching the limits of what is possible or advisable by installing so much horsepower into a hull that was never intended to go this fast. In rough chop, the GTR-X 300 bounces around a lot and is not as stable as the RXP-X or larger ST3 based Sea-Doo models such as the GTX 170, GTX 230 and GTX 300 Limited. As with Sea-Doo's performance flagship, the RXP-X 325, the handlebars and riding position have been designed for sit-down riding rather than crouching or standing, so you may need to adjust your riding style. So, how fast is the GTR-X 300? It's almost as quick as Sea-Doo's performance flagship, the RXP-X 325, especially on takeoff. As always, our acceleration times are an average of 4 runs, 2 in each direction, in this instance with a rider weighing 100 kilograms or 220 pounds. We tested in flat water conditions rather than ocean chop to ensure we could extract the best performance. Wind speed, wind direction, air temperature and the water current can affect the results, which is why we took an average of 2 directions rather than taking advantage of a tailwind or a favourable current. The ski tested had been well run in with more than 28 hours on the clock, and the ambient temperature on the day was a mild 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit. We used launch control for each run, which initially keeps the nose down so the jet pump gets maximum traction at the start, but then the trim automatically adjusts to bring the nose up as the speed climbs, so there's less resistance at higher speeds. Our V-Box timing equipment was programmed to start from 5 km an hour or 3 miles per hour rather than 0 because the slightest movement triggers the device. Here are the numbers. The figures show the GTR-X 300 launches hard and fast, hitting 40 km an hour or 25 miles per hour in just 1.34 seconds, on the way to 100 km an hour or 62 miles per hour in 5.14 seconds. As a guide, in our testing, the RXP-X 325 hit 40 km an hour or 25 miles per hour in just 1.25 seconds, on the way to 100 km an hour or 62 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds. The average top speed of the GTR-X over 4 runs, 2 in each direction, was 109.9 km an hour or 68.3 miles per hour, though on one run we did nudge 110.6 k's or 68.7 miles per hour on our GPS. In comparison, the highest top speed we've recorded in an RXP-X 325 RS was 120.1 km an hour or 74.6 miles per hour on GPS. Other media outlets and some owners have recorded slightly higher top speed results, but we know our times are repeatable even in adverse conditions. Here's how some other supercharged jet skis compare based on our own V-Box testing. Maximum revs on the GTR-X 300 once the engine is run in is 8,000 RPM versus 8,250 RPM on the Sea-Doo RXP-X 325, 7,800 RPM on the Yamaha FX SVHO, and 7,400 RPM on the Kawasaki Ultra 310. Our testing showed the GTR-X is relatively thirsty, which is understandable given the performance. After all, moving this fast through the water requires a certain amount of energy. Our preliminary data showed the GTR-X 300, with its supercharged 1630cc 3-cylinder engine, consumed fuel at a rate of 60 litres per 100 kilometres, or about 3.9 miles per gallon. This makes it slightly less thirsty than the RXP-X 325 and the Kawasaki Ultra 310 in our testing. However, the GTR-X is still a touch thirstier than the Yamaha FX SVHO, powered by a supercharged 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine. But of course, no one is buying a supercharged jet ski for fuel economy. Even at this level of consumption, the fuel tank is large enough to cover close to 100 kilometres or 60 miles between refills. And that will be more than enough after this ski has given your body a workout. So to sum up, the 2024 Sea-Doo GTR-X is wild and possibly too much power for some riders. With so much grunt in such a small and light package, this ski is better suited to experienced jet ski riders or people who are prepared to take the time to get up to speed with this epic acceleration. First timers who want a jet ski with supercharged power might also consider the next model down, the Sea-Doo GTR-230, which is still a heap of fun. With all that said, the Sea-Doo GTR-X 300 delivers a lot of power with not a lot of precision from the hull, which can get knocked around in rough chop. Some riders would say that's all part of the appeal. The Sea-Doo GTR-X 300 delivers epic performance and thrills for the money. Just be sure to keep your eyes open and your grip tight when you jump on board for the first time. Watercraft Zone would like to extend a huge thanks to the guys at Lake and Valley Powersports on the Central Coast just north of Sydney, one of the biggest Sea-Doo dealers in Australia, who loaned us this craft to test over 2 weekends in early 2024. As always, to read the full review and check out the latest jet ski news, head over to watercraftzone.com.au. Please hit like if you've enjoyed this video and subscribe to this channel so we can grow our jet ski community and to make sure you don't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching.